My boyfriend, 20 male, hit me, 21 female, for the first time. Any advice? Yesterday he was driving. I point out that there were free parking spots. I got somewhat frustrated that he didn't park and just kept driving and told him that. I insisted for a few seconds, raising my voice, and then suddenly he slapped my arm. Not hard, but it wasn't a slight tap either, didn't leave marks or much pain, although my skin was a little red afterwards. I was shocked. He wasn't violent, never punched objects, walls, anything. I never thought he would hit me. I then hit him back, in his arm too, using his same strength. It was dangerous as he's obviously stronger than me, and besides it was wrong, but well. Then I got off his car and just walked home. I haven't been answering his calls or texts. I'm just so sad and disappointed right now to do it, and I don't know if I want to. My mind is telling me to leave, but I don't know if I'm overreacting. No man in my life ever raised his hand towards me. Only my mother when I was like 5. And yes, I admit it was dumb. I shouldn't have raised my voice for something like that, especially when someone's driving. But now I'm afraid what he'd do the next time he gets angry at me. Edit. For people who are asking if he did it playfully, I don't think so. In the first texts he said he was angry, and I kinda deserved it for treating him like he was stupid. And no, I'm not excusing in any way what I did. It was immature. And also no, I didn't invade his personal space. I just sit in the passenger side the whole time. I'll update later. You're not overreacting, and even if you were, so what? You can leave your relationship anytime for any reason or no reason at all. For me this would be a deal breaker. You have the opportunity to make it the first and last. When someone shows you who they are, take note and act accordingly. When you have the intuition that something is wrong, bad, dangerous, listen to yourself. You said it yourself. He hit you for the first time. Whether there is a next time is up to you. #yes. Leave. That's the advice. My mind is telling me to leave. Your mind is right. You are not overreacting. Physical violence of any kind is a 100% deal breaker. You are right to be afraid. Abuse escalates. They get away with A, so next time they do B, they get away with B, so they jump to F. Before long you're all the way to X, and YZ is the morgue. This is where it starts. You are not overreacting. He has shown you he is not a safe person to be around. My 20 female housemate, 21 male, opened my private cabinet, and now he's angry with me. How can I fix this? I live with a couple of people, and since there isn't a lot of privacy in our flat, I added a padlock to the cabinet on the bottom of my bedside table where I keep things like period stuff, money I've saved, and snacks. This has never been an issue. I don't know why it whooped me, as each of the guys all have their own food and snacks just for themselves too, but they don't lock theirs up. I came home today to find my housemate waiting for me with an angry look on HJ's face. This made my stomach drop because honestly over the last few weeks he's been kind of acting weird towards me and treating me differently. We used to be good friends, but I can't say that we are anymore. He told me I was fat and selfish for not sharing my things. Then he showed me that he had my snacks and some other things I kept in my cabinet, personal, embarrassing things. And when I went to my room I saw he had somehow opened the padlock. I keep the key in my purse, so I DK how he got it. The lock didn't seem to be damaged, so he must have. He's angry with me now and keeps making cum ts on my weight and calling me selfish. I don't want him to be angry. He makes me nervous on a normal day as it is. Edit. People here call me a liar. That's exactly why I haven't said anything to my other housemate. I'd like to explain a little. First of all, I made a mistake when I typed thinking I had put more context in the title, and apparently that means I'm a rage baiter. I'm tired and emotionally drained right now, so I'm sorry for overlooking that. I posted here a month or so ago about the same housemate, and other than that I only post about the SJMS mostly. I came here for help because I have no one to go to IRL right now. Sorry. Who gives a flying fuck what he thinks? It's your stuff in your cabinet that you locked up with your lock. Why are you entertaining this? He thinks your stuff is his? He is selfish, and now he resorts to name calling and guilt tripping to try and claim your things. Get away from there. His behavior is psychotic and controlling. He probably has feelings for you. He sees that padlock as you denying him access to your life, and that infuriates him. He will escalate to violence if you keep denying him access to you and your things. You need to share this with the rest of the roommates. If they aren't willing to get rid of him, you need to leave. Also, file a police report against him for theft and use that to terminate your lease. You need to see his behavior as what it is, incredibly fucked up. Please protect yourself from this asshole who seems to be totally disconnected from reality. Why aren't you the furious one? I'd be so pissed if someone entered my room without being invited, and he opened a locked cabinet. You have every right to privacy on your own room, and to eat whatever you want. He shouldn't have any power over you. This is very serious. He breaks your privacy and insults you in your own home. You can't live with this man. Make him leave the house or find somewhere you'll be safe. Good luck. It's super easy to pick padlocks. Can you fund new housing? This sounds like a really bad setup if you don't feel safe telling someone who broke into your stuff to just fuck off. I walked in on my 21F boyfriend, 23M, eating my lip scrub, then I yelled at him. Me and my boyfriend of 3 years recently went on this resort together, for a celebration of one of our friends. The whole car ride was tense and we barely spoke other than arguing. We were in a fight previously about something else stupid. It was around 1 a.m. when I got back to our room and he was there already, in the bathroom. I walked in and I saw him eating my Lush lip scrub. Like literally using the little spoon to scoop up the product and consume it. So I asked him, what the hell are you doing? He was a bit startled and he shrugged and said, eating your lip scrub, like it was the most normal casual thing to do. I snatched the pot out of his hands as I asked him what is wrong with him. He said it smelled good and his lips were dry, and he was craving something sweet. I called him disgusting and he said, well, excuse me for trying to take care of myself. I didn't realize I needed your permission to use your things, and it's not like I've never used his things without permission. We fought over it and we haven't spoken since. He ate like more than half of it, so a couple of scoops. I know it was stupid to fight over, but I can't stop thinking about why he would even do that. Revenge? Pettiness? It was a brand new container too, I've never used it before. Also feel free to ask for any information I must have left out. I think it's important to mention it was the bubblegum one, so it's edible. I too would think what's wrong with him because of all the options at a resort he chose to eat a lip scrub for a sweet treat. And he can't say he was taking care of himself cause he didn't use it right. I would say he is extremely stupid, but he knew it was a lip scrub, so I'm going with petty. I am dying to hear what the first argument was about. This is one of the weirdest things I've read on here. The reason for the fight doesn't really matter, but the fact you argue over silly things and it seems to happen regularly isn't normal. But then neither is eating cosmetics, even if they are bubblegum flavor. His insides are gonna be significant other smooth. It's polite to ask people before you use their stuff, especially if it's not the intended use. I think you should be wondering why you're willing to date someone who eats things that aren't meant to be eaten. Fights aren't normal in my relationship. I'm 22F, pregnant with our first baby, and think my husband, 34M, is cheating. How to cope? We've been married for 3+ years and are anticipated to have our first child. It wasn't an accident, he has been really desperate to have a family and does everything, building a new house, buying everything for the baby, making sure I'm feeling alright, doing all his husband duties, etc. But he's the type of guy who likes to party on the weekends and I allow him to go out with his friends. I think it's totally fine because he works hard and clubbing is his way to chill and do the networking with mates. I used to go with him occasionally, so it's not like he's keeping me home. It's just during pregnancy it's hard for me to stand all the noise, and honestly, we already spend enough time together and I'm not a jealous type. I also have the freedom of doing and being, so our relationship is built on trust and respect. Yesterday on Friday night he went out. He said he's going to meet with the car mechanic and come back. So I didn't sleep and waited for him to hang out at home since he didn't mention any other plans. Time went by and I realized it was already 3 a.m. and there's nothing from him. I didn't want to call him to seem controlling, but after half an hour I decided to give a call, but there was no answer. After he didn't call back I started getting worried and called again and again. No answer for like an hour of my attempts. It was the time I got suspicious, so I went to his office, which is in our house, and I know he has his messenger on his desktop, so I opened it. There it was. A conversation with a girl right before he went out. Previously they talked on meeting that night and she dropped a location where to pick her up. There was a conversation before too where they were texting casually. It starts from October 4th and seems like he deleted the previous chat. By looking at the dialogue I can see it's not that deep, romantic or intimate. It's not constant and she's the one initiating conversations or meetings. They were meeting for lunch once and she texted him saying she missed him when he was out of town, that the club sucks without him being there. Nothing directly indicating on sex, but I have no idea who that girl is and she's my age, so it's definitely not his, just a friend, because he's 34 years old and she's 22. He also paid for her nose job surgery apparently, so him financially helping her means that something is definitely off. Finally he returned my call and said, my phone was on silent on the table and I didn't hear you calling, I was at the club. Sorry it happened spontaneously, but I was with my friends. I was upset on a completely different level. I confronted him about everything, without telling him I was checking his messenger. Since I wasn't providing any evidence he just kept lying that he went to the mechanic and then met with his friend, then went to the club, sent me screenshots of transactions confirming that he was in fact at the club. He knew I was still upset and felt guilty, so he came home and stayed at the office and slept on the couch without even facing me. Neither I wanted to see him because I'd just lose it and say or do something I'd regret. In the morning I went out and met with a friend for breakfast. It was already planned and I didn't want to cancel it. I hadn't mentioned anything though. It is so embarrassing for me as a woman to end up in this situation of being cheated on while pregnant. It's like one of the worst fears coming true. For the well-being of my baby, I'm trying not to stress out too much but also have no idea on what to do. How can I cope with it? I clearly don't want a divorce right now, even though my family is wealthy and I have a safe place to go. What would you do in my place? What would you do in my place? I would divorce him. He went after someone so much younger so he could act like a 22-year-old himself and go out to the club every weekend while his wife is pregnant at home. He has just shown you he's comfortable lying to your face even when confronted with the truth. You will never be able to trust him, nor should you. He's also using family funds that should go to your child to pay for another girl's cosmetic surgery. You deserve better. Go stay with your family and figure out next steps. He's the one that should be embarrassed, not you. You're at home pregnant, you have no idea where your husband is, it's 3 a.m., and you don't want to call him because you don't want to seem controlling? Sounds like you're the one being controlled. Nobody dares to ask when this abusive relationship started. Married at 19 with a 31-year-old. How many years did he groom you? Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. So you 31 years old husband married a teenager. I think you now realize that playing family with humans is a lot different than it is with dolls. Didn't anyone tell you that a marriage between 19 and 31 is absurd? Were you running away from a bad situation? Nauseated face vomiting, grooming husband, get out of there.